Let me see it. Let me see. No, come here. Come. All right. Hi, my name is Bridget if you're new here. Oh my god. I'm gonna just start over. So welcome back to my channel. My name's Bridget if you're new here. Make sure you like and subscribe down below. And we're gonna get started with what I read this summer. This is something I want to get going on this channel. Is a series about what I've been reading. Hopefully within every month, but this one I'm just gonna bunch what I read all summer long into one large video, and then hopefully I can kind of get going with like what I read in September or what I read in October, depending on how many books I've read. If I didn't read that many, I might move them together, but I figured this would be a little bit of a fun series since a lot of people like to ask me what I've been reading, and I feel like this is a good reason, and I get give you a good explanation on why I'd be recommending it to you. So my first book is Second Chance Summer. I'm gonna have my Goodreads pulled up on this side, so that way you guys can see what I've been reading and my rating of the book. So Second Chance Summer is by Morgan Maidson. I just started reading her books a little bit in the spring, a little bit before the summer. I read her Since You've Been Gone book, and I thought that was really, really good. I really liked the writing of it. I really like the style, her voice, and how it kind of all comes through in her characters, which is hard to find. It's hard to find an author that you really like the voice of a lot. I gave her book a 5-star rating because it was really well done. It was something normally different from what I usually read, which has been what I've been trying to do, is kind of outbreak what I usually read. And you know, I don't really cry at books, and this book literally had me crying, to the point where my mom said, "Do you need an allergy medication? Because you sound like you're dying." And I was like, "'Cause I'm crying." So if that's not a good enough reason, I do suggest this book a lot. I don't remember a ton of what actually happened without spoiling a lot of it, but if you've read it, leave a comment down below and I would love to chit chat about it. Let's go. And then I bought another one of her books that I have not started reading yet, but I definitely would suggest Morgan because she's really good. This is The Betrothed by Kira Cass, who also wrote the Selection series in The Siren. I love her books. I really like the Selection series. It's one of my favorite books and series to read. I just reread it, but I don't really feel like talking about it because I reread it. I gave this one a rating of 4. On Goodreads it does have a 2.95. There's just a lot of, some people like it, some people don't. Alone, I don't think this book was really that great, but I'm holding out for a series, which I think is what she's going for on this one, since it says book 1. You know, book 1. So that was my second book. I really liked it. I thought it was really good at the end. The beginning part, like most series books, are kind of slow. They kind of introduce you to a lot of what's going on and kind of educate you a little bit what's going on. So I definitely see that within this. So I'm really hoping that if it is a series, the second, third, fourth book will really kind of get more action-packed with it, because I definitely see that happening with this series. Especially it's a little bit different than what she's writing before, like what I read before from her, like the Selection series, and The Siren is a little bit more love-based, whereas this was a little bit more like empowering female. So I definitely suggest it. I thought it was really good, but I wouldn't jump at it. Like I wouldn't say like pick it up right now. I would maybe give it a couple years and see if a couple more books come out to kind of add to the storyline of this book, and I definitely think that might make it a little bit better. Say You Still Love Me, a novel by K.A. Tucker. I found this at Barnes & Noble. I just really wanted to kind of check it out. I've been trying to find new authors a little bit more older as I kind of grow out of the young adult section, even though I love it very much, but sometimes it's time to go. So I thought this book was really well written. I really liked it. What did I rate it? I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It has a 3.84 on Goodreads. It was a fast read. It was honestly quite easy to read. A good beach book, as I would like to call it. It is based in 2020 and they don't wear masks. So that threw me for a freaking loop. Not gonna lie to you. It's not based in a pandemic. So if you kind of want a little bit of an escape of what 2020 could have looked like, but it's not 2020, this is it. They have gatherings. They don't stand 6 feet apart. It's really quite a dystopian world actually at this point. It does have flashbacks, so if you're into that kind of flashback of present to now to back to present, you know, all that jazzy stuff, it is good. And I really liked her writing. That I picked up another one of her books that I'm looking forward to reading. So that is what I read. I read To All the Boys I Love, the 4 series. Finally, I've been pestered to read it and I finally did it. I really like Jenny Han. I actually read her The Summer I Turned Pretty series when I was in high school. It was really good. It was before this series, so I definitely would totally check out her other books. I messed up the order of the books when I read it, but I still really liked it and I really enjoyed it. So to talk about this one, I gave this one a 5-star rating. I really liked the first book. I thought it was really good. Easy read, quick read. It made me want to come back for more. I was like, ooh, what's next? Peter and Laura Jean, here we go. So yeah, this one definitely had me. I rated it a 5-star on my Goodreads, and then it has a general 4.5 rating. So I liked it. I thought it was really good. And honestly, it could stand alone. Like, it wouldn't, you don't technically I would suggest need to read the other books. But I thought they were good. The next book of the series is P.S. I Still Love You, which is the second book in the series. I gave it a 4 out of 5 rating, and generally it has a 4.11 rating on Goodreads. It was losing momentum. I'm not gonna lie to you on that one. I liked it. It was definitely a quick read, but towards the end I was like, okay, is it still going? And I still have another book through the series to get through. So it just kind of slowed down for me. It got kind of whiny. It got kind of... I'm sorry if you really like the series, but I'm gonna kind of pick it to shreds right now. So I really didn't like how Laura Jean kind of was always like, well, Peter, you can't do it, but watch me do it instead. That to me is just not okay, and I just think that was kind of hypocritical of Laura Jean a lot of the time. Granted, she's 16, and you know, you're hypocritical at 16, so you learn a lot, but I don't know, I just can't kind of jump on that. So Laura Jean was starting to piss me off, not gonna lie to you on that one. But it was still good. I still gave it a 4. I finished it, so it had to be good. Always and Forever, Laura Jean, the 3rd and final book of the series. I rated this a 3, and normally a 3 out of 5 stars, and then it normally has a 4.12 on Goodreads for star ratings. I hated it. I literally could not stand this book. Personally, as it stands alone, as this book, it really kind of bothered me, and it got kind of annoying. And then whereas Laura Jean was bothering me in the second book, Peter was bothering me in this book. So like, Laura Jean had to move schools for Peter. That's not fair, but Peter couldn't do that for her. So, or that now Laura Jean's ruining Peter's future, and it was just annoying. And it was just a bunch of people getting in the way of Laura and Peter's relationship and thinking they had an opinion on it. So it wasn't my favorite. It took me forever to read. So much so that I listened to other books on audio, so that way I had a break from it. So it's okay. I still suggest the series. I think it was a good summer read. Will I be reading it again? Probably not. I read the Cruel Prince series, which is by Holly Black. I bought the box set because I've never owned a box set in my life. So here's the pretty, ooh, it's literally stunning. So I actually didn't open the book at all. I listened to the audiobooks. And I know you're like, that doesn't count. Look how beautiful this is. Hold on, hold on. Oh my god, look. That is stunning. Okay, anyway, I had my moment. So this summer, with the fact that COVID happened, my job kind of got a little bit wonky this year. So whereas I normally spent a lot of time with people and didn't really have time to listen to audiobooks, I had about 2 weeks where I was literally a rotating lifeguard again. So I whipped out onto Audible. I know what you're saying, Audible, what the heck, but I paid for the month, so I already had it, so I kind of go for it. So I ended up downloading The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and I really liked listening to it on audiobook. I think it just clarified a lot of more things. There's some things that just like words wise I probably wouldn't have been able to read and probably wouldn't have interpreted the same way. So I think by saying I really enjoyed this book and I really enjoyed listening to it. So I rated it a 4 out of 5, and normally it has about a 4.13 on Goodreads. I really enjoyed this book. I really liked listening to it, and I listened to it really freaking fast. It's a 12-hour audiobook. I finished it in 2 days. That's right, son, 2 days. So maybe even like a day, because I think I work 8 hours and then I listen to it on the car ride home an hour, and then I listened to it when I got home. So I actually think I did this one in a day. This is the second book in the series. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it really brought on a really good twists and turns. The character development was really good. On Goodreads, I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars, and on it generally has a 4.40 on as ratings, and it was the top choice book of 2019. I thought this was really well done. I really enjoyed it. I would totally suggest reading this again. I did listen to the audiobook, which I thought was really good because I just spent so much time by myself this summer. So I totally suggest getting the audiobook for this book and really checking it out. And I think Holly Black is a really good author. She writes more of that folklore kind of style, which is new to me, but I really enjoyed it, and I will definitely be looking for more of her books. Last but certainly not least is The Queen of Nothing, which is the final book in the series. I loved it. So I gave it a full 5 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads, and it has a 4.35 on Goodreads. I just really enjoyed this entire series. I really enjoyed listening to it. I really loved the ups and downs, the changing characters, and how characters come together and how they don't come together and how they fall apart, and you know, it just was super good, and I totally would suggest it. And again, I'll show you how beautiful this is. Oh my goodness. That snake and this cover art really pulls everything together that is happening, and everything has a connection, and this series worked really well to continue on a story as a whole. So I really totally suggest this. Go get the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black. Probably the best series that I've read so far this summer. Okay, so my next book that I don't have in person because I listened to the audiobook is A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Spark. I usually read a Nicholas Sparks book about like once a year, which is kind of what I do. It was super easy, super short. I could listen to it in a day. So I gave it a 3-star rating, and a 4.18 generally is on Goodreads. So I watched the movie before I read the book, which is like what every book person is like cringing right now in their seat. I personally really like the way the movie was done a little bit better than I did like the book. It was well written. It's nothing against Nicholas Sparks. I'm just not into the whole let's sit around and read the Bible. That's just not what I like to read, or like what I like to see. So like it just got to the point where like they were doing that all the time, and I was like, anything new? No? Okay. So it was okay. I'm glad I read it though. Easy read. And last but certainly not least book that I read this summer is The Rest of the Story by Sarah Dessen. I've read every Sarah Dessen book known to mankind, and this has got to say one of my favorite books because she changed up the way her books worked. And I'm obsessed. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. It threw me for a loop. I thought I was going back into comfy, cozy Hallmark land, and it wasn't, and it was exactly what I was looking for in a book. It also helps out one of the best friends is named Bridget. I also really enjoyed that part. That was fun. I did actually get to go and meet Sarah Dessen during her book signing when this book came out. I'll insert a photo here of when that happened. I didn't start reading this book until this year. I'm a big person on books come into your life when you need to read them at the most. Kind of the same with TV shows, so I might have it for a while, but I'll definitely read it at some point. So I really, really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed Emma and Sailor and how she connects to both, and I really liked that this character wasn't about how can a boy help me, but how can I help myself. And I don't really think that generally all Sarah Dessen's books are like, oh my god, this boy is here to help me. It's more about how they have something in common and kind of goes from there. But I thought this was really good, and I thought what a great book to read about, you know, learning about yourself and finding out where you come from and who you are and your past and how that creates who you are, and, you know, learning about a lot of things that can make you you that you don't necessarily know. So I thought this was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it. I do have the exclusive version at Barnes & Noble, so I did have a nice little epilogue in the back, which made me really happy. But as always, Sarah Dessen, I can't wait for your next book. Basically, that's where I'm at this one. And it was so nice to meet you. So anyway, that is all for what I read this summer. Definitely a lot more than you expected. I'm going to show you what I'm reading now. Just a little. So I am reading The Flight Girls by Noelle Salazar. I haven't read it in a couple days. Like, I kind of took a break. But it's good. I really, really enjoy it. So The Flight Girls, this is based off in 1941 about the women who flew planes in the army during World War II, so that way the men could go and fight the war. And the women were not recognized until very recently. So I think this was a really good book. The way it's written is really good. I really, really enjoy it. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. But go get it. It's really good and really historical, and I feel like we need to know more about what our women did during this time, because I think it's really interesting to learn more as it comes out more and more. And that is all I have for you today. Make sure you like and subscribe down below, and if you have any other video ideas, I would love to hear them, because I'm running low on some of them, especially since I don't really do much. So if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. And what's your favorite book that you read this summer? And that is all I have for you. Thanks for coming and, you know, listening and loving that I read. So with that, have a good day. Bye guys.